Yeah. Well, the end thing at High Hopes is great. Like the little end thing that it ends with. Like that's
I think I
strong.
have one for you guys
Do
here.
you?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Clap Your Hands is one too. So I'm sure
Okay.
Go Birds.
So
Yeah, I have one here.
why can't there be an open thing like that?
That's a good point.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying here, man. I'm all over this stuff. Is it go time?
Oh yeah, we've been live.
I didn't curse.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I
I
didn't know we
almost said
were
I'm all
live.
over this bleep,
It's
and I
good.
didn't.
It's good to know.
Because I know that Tucker told me not to
I
curse.
feel like a nice live.
know,
would have been good.
Tucker and Jack, the two people keeping me from cursing.
Yes. All right.
All right, right?
Yes.
Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Park Casino and Sportsbook app. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. Bet Parks, Eliot Shorr-Parks.
What up?
What up, pal? How you doing?
You know,
we are 9 days away from Eagle playing football. Have you
Wow.
thought about that? Like the 9
well,
days? Today's
I mean,
Wednesday.
I leave for
a week from
Brazil.
Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no big deal.
I leave for
Yeah.
Brazil on 4 days or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
Dude.
It
Let's
really did
go.
sneak up. Like as fun as training camp was, which obviously, it's my heart. As fun as not that final cuts are fun, but as intriguing as that whole thing.
Oh, look at Elliot.
I know,
relishing
yes,
people's dreams being dashed.
Yes. I feel very bad
very
for
nice
everybody.
of
That
you.
was
Yeah.
really
Some of those guys will never play in the NFL.
people don't bring that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But it is crazy. A week from basically today, they'll be playing again. Not completely, obviously, because today's Wednesday and they play Friday.
Who
but
does that?
It's basically a week.
9 days.
it's
Who
basically
says
a
a week from today? Basically,
It basically is. I mean,
no, it's not.
it's
It's
10
a
a.m.
week
on
and 2
Wednesday.
days away.
Yeah, a week and 2 days. But those 2 days will be, by the time most people listen to this, it'll probably be a week.
Why not just say?
It'll probably at least be.
Why
one
not say
day.
a week from Friday? Isn't that more accurate?
It just feels like it's mostly a week. That's just how it feels in my head.
I will say, and I do feel like this most weeks, to be honest, but this week in particular, it feels like it should be Thursday and not Wednesday.
Yeah. So me and Tucker were like planning
Yes.
out pod stuff, and it's almost like Wednesdays, like Thursday and Wednesday aren't happening.
Yeah,
They're
it definitely
flying
feels
through.
like it should be a day ahead, but
Yeah.
not 2 days ahead. You lost me at 2 days
I think it's basically a week.
ahead.
It is. I mean, well, the other thing too is so the NFL had like a call with media about like going over the trip and everything.
So the NFL, does that like a person or is that?
Yeah, it was the NFL. It was the logo. It was the logo
and
speaking out of
then
the
it was
mouth. It was like
Goodell,
an
and
AI animated. Yeah, Goodell got on the.
I thought he
call.
might. Hey,
No,
hey,
yeah,
reporters,
yeah,
how you doing?
yeah.
Roger Goodell
Yeah,
here.
just breaking down all
Yeah,
all of our
yeah,
little beat writer
yeah.
questions. It's gonna be a wild trip. Like I don't know where the Eagles are staying specifically, but like the stadium is like an hour away from downtown, so it's gonna be a lot of travel. And the Eagles. So I don't know if we've actually gone over this on the pod, but they're going to leave a week from today, literally a week from today.
that you could say literally.
Yeah, a week from today, I think they'll either be flying
Are
to
you
Brazil
surprised that they're not going earlier?
I'm not, and here's why. One, I think we're overestimating a little bit how big of a trip this is. Like they fly 5 hours to the West Coast, almost every year, like pretty frequently. We don't view that as like a massive deal. The Phillies played in London. The Eagles have played in London. That's like 6 hours. So Brazil's straight shot is like 9.5, which is a longer flight for sure. I'm not diminishing it, but it's not like they're traveling 17 hours with a 12-hour
They're
time.
on a charter plane.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just flying down.
Yeah.
Like the time difference is only 1 hour, which I think is a big deal when talking about this. And then also, I just think transporting everything they would need to Brazil to have a week of practice would be much harder than people think. Like it sounds silly, but all like the football equipment, all the footballs, all like the sleds, like, painting a field and getting it ready. So they will travel a week from today. They will sleep in Brazil Wednesday night. Thursday, they will practice, but it'll be mostly like a performative, like for the cameras type of walkthrough thing. I don't think it's going to be anything of substance. So obviously sleep in Brazil Thursday night. Friday, the game I think is at 9:15 at night, Brazil time, which I guess it is when Sunday night and Monday Night Football used to kick off. Now it's more like obviously 8:00, but kind of late in the night, to be completely honest, just from like a physical standpoint.
it is.
It's like that's a long day, like sitting around and waiting, and then at 9:15 you play. And then they'll leave right after the game. So definitely a big trip. You're going to another continent. Like that's obviously a huge deal. But I don't think it's like you have to be out there for 5 days to let your body adjust type of thing.
No, I get it.
But I'll let you know.
It's an interesting angle on.
Yeah.
That is interesting. All right. So anything else we need to know about the Brazil experience from your call, from whatever?
Well, just, but I'll be in Brazil for a week doing all my pods
that's
there. Yeah,
good.
so
Well,
we'll
that's
do a
not really any.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I think everyone knew you were going to
lots
Brazil.
of videos. I'm excited to see all the Eagles fans there.
That'll be cool.
What do you think the environment's going to be like?
At the stadium?
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be mixed.
I think it's
because
gonna,
Packers fans travel well also.
Yeah. So I will be curious to see if it's more Eagles or Packers.
I think it'll be slightly more Eagles because we do travel aggressively, but
It's an easier trip too.
But let's put it this way. I think there are more randos around the world who are Packers fans and Eagles fans. So, you know, so if you're coming from South America, you're closer. Oh, the game's in Brazil. I'm in, you know, wherever, you know, Peru or something, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's easier to get to that game and more likely to be a Packers fan.
Agreed.
I would assume. So I think it'll be pretty close.
Yeah. A lot of Brett Favre jerseys.
A lot of Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
I do think from a noise perspective, I don't think it'll be a level of noise where they have to worry about like silent counts.
No, I don't think it'll be. I think the only thing is it could just be a general buzz. Crowd. Yeah, I think it's more like, but who knows? It could just be a more buzzier stadium because it's, you know, soccer fans or this or that experiencing it the way they experience sports. Who knows? You know, there could be chants, there could be this, there could be that. You know,
it'll be cool to see some of the chants. I'm excited to see that too.
I hope it feels like a soccer game.
Yeah,
and that'd be neat to have that experience.
The other part of the Brazil thing that I was thinking about yesterday is if they're leaving next Wednesday, like, and their week is kicked up, they basically can't make any roster moves after like Monday.
That's a fascinating point. You're right.
Pick someone up off the practice squad on a Tuesday.
Hey, meet us in Brazil, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you know,
just pay for your flight. We'll expense it for you. No worries. Yeah.
So 2 hours from now, or an hour and 45 minutes. So basically 2 hours. There we'll find out about who the Eagles get claimed off of waivers and who they get, you know, which of their players were claimed that they cut. But that'll kind of probably be it. Like, you have to make roster moves a little quicker, I would think, because of the trip.
I love that.
Just the game being
it's a really good point, which is also a great segue. That's why you're the best in the business.
That's why I track.
To what happened yesterday, the cuts that were made. Obviously, we know that, to Elliot's point, I think is an important thing to remember, that the 53 now are potentially not the 53 that will go to Brazil. Like, there are things happening we're going to get to.
There will be.
Will be. Former tight end was cut, who a lot of people think is going to come back. There's all kinds of stuff like that. But let's just start with the initial reaction to cut down day. Let's just start with the most important thing. You came in second place again. I know. The second straight year.
You really have to wonder if I'm a loser.
The second straight year.
I know. Just brutal.
That you have been just off in winning the competition.
And honestly, I got 51 to 53. It's not like,
and it was 52, which is really funny, by the way, because the whole thing you kept saying, like, literally since the 1.0.
Yeah.
For those who followed along, what did you get to, by the way, of your draft or your roster?
Okay. It was 5.
Actually. 5. Okay. So 1.0, the first thing you said is there are 51 players they should keep.
Yeah, I know. Well, so here's
and it ended up changing because Paris came out with this, but it's very funny that, like, 51, like, that was your initial thing.
Well, and it's
so funny.
I can't think of the sports equivalent, but to lose with getting 51 and if someone getting 52 is pretty.
Shout out to, was it EJ Smith? I believe was the winner. Shout out to EJ.
It's kind of like the Patriots when they lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl are probably like, I mean, come on. You know, it's like Brady had 500 yards. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you'd have told me I got 51 and 53 before, I'd have felt really confident I won. I also will say, to defend myself, the Anaya Smith on IR thing
was a tough blow.
Because I had him on my 53, and I think I was correct that they valued him enough.
Oh, so you weren't allowed to change it after that?
No, that was prior. The roster was before.
So you actually kind of got. Here's the question: would you have made the right change? Would you have?
I don't think I would have.
Okay, so then at least
I'm just being honest. Like, I don't think I would have I might have put Thomas Booker on, but I might have done Oren Burks. So I can't say definitively. But I still feel like of the 54 players they kept, I got 52 of them.
I think you did. I think you did an exceptional
job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm the king of training camp. So it would have been nice to actually wear the crown, but we all know where the crown really rests.
Look,
shout out to EJ. But
only one of these people is moving lines. Right?
Exactly.
Is it still 2.5? By the way, I haven't checked.
I haven't tweeted, so I don't know.
All right. Let's get to the reaction to what happened yesterday. Obviously, I think, and we'll get to specifics. And I think, you know, the Bradbury thing, which we'll talk about, I think probably the number one decision going in, obviously, was the Paris Campbell cut, probably the most surprise cut. We'll get into specifics, but just overall, your thoughts on the Eagles roster after cutdown day.
So my first reaction to the cuts, and I did a pod with BLG last night breaking down position by position. So everybody should check that out if you want.
Speaking of which, shout out, by the way, BLG will be on with me.
Yes.
Since Elliot will be in Brazil for the show, we're on the day after.
The day after the game.
Go Birds Radio 1 to 3 will be a
kind of jealous.
I know. Yeah, honestly, I was saying it's like the easiest, like, funnest.
Yeah. I'll call in, but I almost don't want to take a spot.
No, we're gonna talk to Elliot and all that. But like, the point is, if you want to react on WIP to the first Eagles game of the year, Go Birds Radio, one of the few places you'll be able to do it. So check us out.
Yeah, I'm very jealous about that. That'll be fun. It's not exactly like doing the day of the Super Bowl like we did, but
no, that was that's the single coolest one we've ever done, without a doubt.
That'll be awesome.
But yeah, we've never gotten the opportunity to be on the day after a game. It just never works out that way. So.
And I still haven't.
Pretty cool.
But you will. Which will be really fun. Happy for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess that you talking on the radio after games and day after games. It's going to happen quite a bit this
Yeah,
season.
I think there'll be quite a bit of me after games. Yeah. But so my initial thought on the cuts, and this is like my most honest answer, which I will only give on this pod. I just can't get worked up about
I feel
any.
the same way. Dude.
Honestly, like
there's not a single thing where I'm
like all this Dylan McMahon anger and James Bradbury.
Is there Dylan McMahon
Yeah,
anger?
it's a lot of
why'd you even sign it? Or
well,
why'd you
no, a lot of the
draft him
beat
or-
writers and a lot of like the hardcore fans, I would say, are doing. How could you keep an older Bradbury for a younger and cut a young McMahon, who's like obviously a rookie? And I think
Is it a 6th-round pick?
the 6th-round pick. First of all, I think he had a good camp, but I think everyone's lying if we know how well he really played. Like, it's impossible to evaluate line play in practice.
Totally,
you know, especially interior.
Third,
yeah.
Line,
and then
backup lineman. I mean, yep.
Shout out if any beat writers truly studied his snaps in the preseason game. Shout out to them. But like, I just can't get worked up about it. Also, good chance he'll just be on the practice squad. So it is.
I would be shocked if he isn't. I would be a lot more worked up about them giving like $1.5 million to Matt Hennessy and him not making the roster.
Yeah, I think that's
right.
That kind of got overshadowed.
It's like,
yeah,
it's
that's a good point.
Especially with the backup lineman issues that we have. Like,
Yeah.
I understand a 6th-round lineman not like being good enough to make a roster. Like, a guy you went out and said, all right, this guy's probably going to be our primary backup lineman interior. Like that.
Now he could be on the practice squad.
Sure.
So, and that's the other thing too, I think is truly changed, not to like echo what Howie said.
The practice squad changes everything.
Yeah. I think it's fun to view an initial 53 and it's fun to consistently come in second place when guessing, but I think we really need to view it as like a 69-man roster. We just do, because there's 16 practice squad and 53 regular. Plus they'll have
I think that's the thing, that the new rules with the practice squad being added to the active roster in season, and the fact that you do it 3 times without having to sign them and all, and you can mix and match with that. I think that more than anything has changed NFL roster, you know, the way it's put together more than anything.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think that when I look at the roster, I think he made mostly all the right decisions. Like, if they would have cut Eli Ricks for Bradbury, I would be like, okay, I like Eli Ricks. If they would have cut Tristan McCullum, I would have said, all right, I get that. Dylan McMahon was a 6th-round pick. That's a center. He's not going to play this year. Let's be real. And if you lose him and he turns into an all-pro player, then you know what? That was a mistake. But we are many, many steps away from that happening. You can't say now that it was a flaw. You can't say now it was a bad decision, because Bradbury helps this team more in week 1 than McMahon.
There's no question.
Like, and again, I know we've done this discussion a lot, but I think it's important to repeat. I think people are way too harsh on Bradbury. And I know I'm going to die on this island and he'll be bad when he plays and I'll look foolish, but I'm used to that. So it's okay. But like, I just think everyone's like, he's trash. He can't play safety. This experiment's not going well. I don't think that's true. I don't think we can say that. Like,
we have no idea.
Vic Fangio, who we all believed when he said Bryce couldn't play the run. Like, when he didn't play the run, everybody's like, Vic calls it like it is.
Good. But then when he says James Bradbury is doing a great job,
yeah, it was like, well, he's just saying that. Yeah, so
that's a great, Elliot. You can't pick and choose.
You can't pick and choose. Either Vic says it like it is, or he doesn't. And he was on it.
I think he does. I believe it.
And actions speak louder than words. Like, everyone says he's only here because of the contract, and that's part of it. But they've already paid him.
Sunk cost.
They've already paid him.
Yeah, it's a sunk cost.
Yeah. So I think the truth.
Howie's too smart for that.
Yes. The truth is, most of their backup offensive linemen were like the same guy. Hennessy, Brett Toth, Nick Gates, Max Sharpring. You could literally line them all up and convince me either. Like, they're the exact same replica.
Well, except for Gates and his belly shirt. That's what you tell him.
That's true. That's a good point. That's how you tell him. But I can't get worked up about cutting all them. Like, I don't care. Like, they're not outstanding players.
Well, I think also just real quick on that specific, the secondary versus the line.
Yeah.
We talked about the lack of depth on the line. I think that's probably part of the reason that people are getting upset. We don't have a lot of talent in the backup, you know, who's going to play all that stuff. Like, I know that we're deep at cornerback. Like, they're not deep at safety. Like, we have not talked, I think, enough about, we've talked about the lack of depth in spots, but like, we're talking about Reed Blankenship, who most people don't even want as a starter.
Yeah.
Who I think might be a little underrated at this point.
I think
he's fine. He's whatever.
He's like the definition of a B-.
And CJ GJ, who has yet to play 16, 17 games in his season.
Let alone at safety.
Who's the backup? I mean, other than, like, so my point is, like, the idea that maybe James Bradbury could do that for you, like, I think is way more of a valuable shot to take than is Shane McMahon, my 8th or 9th or 10th offensive
I agree,
lineman.
for sure. And also,
I honestly think it makes all the sense in the world. You're trying to win the Super Bowl right now.
And I'm high on Quinn Young. I think Isaiah Rodgers is awesome. I like Eli Ricks. I don't think the chances of all of them being bad are very slim. One or two of them will be better than people think. But at least you know you have Bradbury to play backup if you need him. Now, what's be funny is in 3 hours when they cut Bradbury.
Oh, I know.
But I think it was a smart
I support
decision.
the move. I really do.
Now, here's my other main takeaway from it. The roster is not as good as it was last year. I think they could end up being a better team.
Whoa!
Because it's just not.
You buried
like
the lead.
I don't think it's as good.
Well, I think obviously not better in 2022. I think we can all agree with that.
Right.
So go ahead. Explain.
So all right.
Is it a depth thing?
Well, it's a depth thing, number one. Like, there were not 53 players worthy of a roster spot, in my opinion. And that's rare for the Eagles. You rarely see a team built by Howie Roseman that I think there's not 53 guys. Because normally they have so many intriguing young rookies or their UDFAs that you go, oh, wow, they didn't have any UDFAs.
We had none of the Henry Josie.
Exactly. Zach Berman.
Got to make the Paul Turner. We didn't have a zero.
None of
zero.
It. Like EJ Jenkins, we tried to talk ourselves into, but let's be real.
That was a beat writer.
Yeah.
We had zero calls on WIP saying, oh,
right.
EJ Jenkins got to make the roster.
Now, part of it could be
Paul Turner. They used to, and granted, they were a worse team then, but still, we used to get calls every day.
Yeah, you got to keep him.
Paul the Burner.
Rasheed Bailey was a big one. Now, part of this could be people just don't watch preseason with you.
True.
But they just didn't have anyone that stood out.
And again, part of it also is that they're a higher end roster,
right.
And thus the lower guys matter less and whatever.
And they're Paul Turner was viewed as a potential solution.
Yeah, because they didn't want
they don't need a solution at receiver or running back. So that's part of it. But now that I've been around the team for all of camp and cuts and all that, like, can they be better at corner? Yes. Could they be better at linebacker? Yes, I think they could be. I don't feel great about safety. They could be better. Like, we'll see with Chauncey, but I don't feel great about safety. I feel worse about both offense and defensive line than I did going into last year.
Without a doubt.
It just matters more.
I mean,
it just matters way more. Like, the linebackers are awesome if they're good and it helps and all that.
Well, again, like Jalen Carter is the only guy that we feel like we can like Milton Williams can do his role. Brandon Graham can do his role. Like, we're talking about Josh Sweat, who they gave a pay cut to and was like, all right, one more year, let's see what happens, whatever. Yeah. Josh Sweat, you're talking about Bryce Huff, we don't even know if he can play the run, and Nolan Smith, who might just be a bust. Like, I hope not. It's too early. It's too early. I'm not going to say it, but like in terms of like the way how he talked about him yesterday and the whole like he's got to learn, it's different in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, it was like bad. That was bad. And the fact that he's out there in the fourth quarter of preseason games with guys who are, to quote Major League, going to be packing groceries in a month,
right,
like, is bad. Like, I am with you. I think the line play, which has been such a staple of this team and this our belief in this team each year, is absolutely much more of a question mark than it's been in a long time.
And now I will say, what we think about the team now could not end up happening. Obviously, last year going into camp,
I thought they were going to the Super Bowl last year.
And also, think about last year. We were like, they have Hassan Reddick and Josh Webb, both coming off of monster years. Yeah. Fletcher Cox was back. Like, so
Jalen Hurts coming off the second,
and no one played to their potential. So how we feel about the roster now?
I think they'll be better than last year. I really do.
But do you think they'll win 12 games?
Because
that's the weird thing about last year. Like, they did win 11 games.
So I'm actually I'll probably end up at 12. My original prediction was 11 and 6, but as we've gotten closer, I think I'll probably get to 12 and 5. We're gonna make our official predictions.
Yeah.
Next, like right before the season.
But
I'm
pretty locked in at 10.
So, oh wow, okay. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna end up at 12 and 5. I'm pretty close between 11 and 6 and 12 and 5, but I don't think that matters as much. Like, they were 11 and 6, but they were a 3 and 14 team going into the playoffs. Right. Like, they lost the Arizona Cardinals in a game that if they win it, they had a chance to be the 1 seed. And if nothing else, the 2 seed for sure to win the division, lock it up by winning that game. And the next one against the Giants, and they lost the Arizona Cardinals. Like, they were one of the worst teams in football by the end of the season last year. So while I don't really need them to win 12 games to say that they're better than they were last year. I think they're going to be a better football team than they were last year, but I think they probably will get to 11 or 12. That's the number I think.
Yeah, I think they're capable of getting to.
Look,
to 12
I think they can be a 10 and 7 team and be better than they were last year, and me feel much better about them going. Because again, we didn't, and now you've come around, but in the moment, like, I have never felt worse about a Philadelphia team going into the playoffs. Like, I was 100% sure they were going to get a boat race. Like, I was like, they don't have a chance in this game. So, like, they are as bad as it could get at the end of the season last year. So, like, win total matters less to me than how do they look when it matters.
Yeah. So I for sure. I think also, like, to just a 53-man or 70-man roster, however you want to view it, like, their offensive line backup right now is a disaster. If you want to just look at their,
that's my biggest concern.
If you just want to look at their backup on the 53, and I know it's not a fair exercise, but like, they have 2 players that can only play tackle, Kennard and Fred Johnson. Like, that's weird. And
they might have a starting guard who can only play tackle. We're gonna
find out. Right.
Well, no, I'm talking about Mekhi Becton. Like, they both.
Oh yeah, true.
Both their guards might only be able to play tackle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at their 9 linemen they kept, I think 4. I mean, you figure Mailata, Lane, Kennard, potentially Becton,
Johnson,
Fred Johnson.
potentially
I
Steen.
mean, that's
7 of them
five,
potentially.
five, right? I'm saying who could only play
Oh,
or
yeah,
only tackles.
5.
I'm saying.
It's
Yeah,
5 guys who can. Oh no, 7. Didn't you say? So it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so
All
it's
right, let's take
6.
a step back.
It's 6. It's 6. It's Lane Mailata, Johnson, Kennard, Steen, Becton. 6.
So 6 of their 9 could potentially only be tackles,
and 2 of them are their guards,
which
or
is
right guard.
So a lot of talk yesterday was too. What do they do at backup center if Cam were to go down? Which, by the way, not crazy. Like he did miss 6 games. I know.
No, but I'm with you. I'm saying it's like not crazy to talk about any of these.
Yes, for sure.
It's football. Like any player could go down at any moment in any game in any situation. Like that's the sport.
So here's what I think they'll do, and this is just a guess, but I think if Landon goes down in a game, they'll. If Cam goes down,
they would move Landon over
and put Keegan in, and I think that's why Keegan's only been taking spots
That's
in
interesting.
Landon's role.
That's
only been taking snaps there because I think that's who they'll put up.
I just don't understand though why you wouldn't get Keegan ready to. I guess because they think Steen will come in if Becton gets hurt.
I think they feel like they have more options there.
Yeah, but why not just make your best?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree, but like I think that would be the ready for this word, like the machination of how that would work. If that is that correct? That's right.
That is correct. Well, so it's I say machination too. There are some people who say like machinations.
Well, that's just
yeah.
That's like people that say
machinations. People say machinations or whatever.
That just seems wrong.
Yeah,
I might be right. It just feels
wrong. So
like how the game's basically in a week.
Yeah, I always say machinations too.
So I think like with the line, the depth is for sure an issue. It's interesting with the offensive line. I feel okay about the starters, terrible about the depth. With the defensive line, I actually feel okay about the depth in a weird way. Like
Milton Williams, Graham and Milton Williams are 2 guys I feel the best about.
But I feel not good about the starters. So while I feel better about the linebackers, I feel better about the secondary, I feel the same about the receivers and the running backs. Like, let's be honest, Saquon's awesome. They're better there, but DeAndre Swift was pretty good last year. We felt good about him going in. I don't think I view like the addition.
I feel better about Saquon than I do
for sure. But like I think I feel the same about their skill players, if that makes sense, going into the year.
I feel better about. I think they're better skill players.
Better.
Yes, they got Saquon and Dotson for.
Oh yeah, that's
Swift
true. You're right.
Watkins.
You're right.
I think the skill players are way better. We've spent this whole offseason going.
You're right.
The best group I've ever seen.
You're right.
I think the skill players are the single thing that is the biggest jump, really, other than like I guess the corners.
So I guess what it'll really come down to is, am I right about the offensive line struggling?
Yeah, and Jalen and how good he is, and look, and that's the thing about Jalen is the offensive line doesn't have to be perfect if Jalen is confident and can move around and be pocket mobile and all that type of stuff. He is able to make things happen. He can make plays happen off schedule and all that type of stuff. So like, it doesn't have to be perfect. They just need to be good enough, and they need to be able to stop the blitz, and they need to communicate, and they need to work together and all that kind of stuff.
So do you feel like the roster is just the roster, not the coaching staff? Do you think these 53 players are better than you felt? Or do you think they're better or worse than last year?
I think that
they lost Reddick, Kelsey.
No. I know. Thank you.
I don't know if you do that. Yeah.
I would take last year's roster over this year's roster because of the defensive end thing with Reddick.
Yeah.
And Kelsey just being there and a part of it. But I would take, because like I was so down on the coaching last year, and I am so much higher on Kellen and Vic. I would absolutely take this year over last year in terms of overall thing, because I think the coaching just destroyed them.
All right, so let me ask you this. I don't think we've talked about it. So ESPN ranked the coaching staffs around the league. Have you heard this?
I have not.
Okay.
So hold on. Save that for a second for me.
Okay.
Because download the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. We're there. It's go time. I've spent like the last 3 weeks being like, guys, seriously, come on. We're about to pick every single game every week. And we're about to, really have a blast on this site with the Go Birds widget. You can do the Go Birds parlay every week. And like, this is where the Bet Picks Park pod came from, is picking games every week. And if you listen to this pod and you care about this pod and you're not doing that with us, like, what's the point of living?
I am excited for the widget.
I can't wait for the widget.
You reminded me of the widget in the last one. It was a fun.
It was a fun.
We actually have to. Kind of soon, because there's games, as you know, a week from today.
Yeah, we gotta.
But
make
also
our
like
Thursday,
we gotta.
We're gonna get on it.
Don't
you worry. I know.
So like now is. I know we've said all summer you have to download it. You do, but like now is literally.
It's go time. That's the point.
Now you can join after week 1, but.
Don't be like the people who get cut and then brought back on a non-guaranteed salary.
Exactly,
you don't want that. You want
to
be
guaranteed. That's a good point.
Real one part of our thing. Here's the amazing thing too, though. The BetParks app, it's not just a blast for us to bet on these football games, bet on any sports. You're watching sports. It's fun to have money on them anyway. All the future bets that you can win, all that great stuff. Track them all year. There's so many fun ways. But of course, it's also got a casino in your hands. Blackjack. Give it to me, Elliot.
roulette, baccarat.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, they had
Plus,
another good one that they always have fun ones.
They have fun ones. You get a live dealer on your phone. Bang, no problem. Plus, you can play all kinds of fun slot games. So many great ways to win money, to have fun with your phone right in the palm of your hand, no matter where you are. It is awesome. And here's an amazing deal. New users, if you sign up now, make your first bets. If you're down in the first 24 hours, bet
Boom.
$1,000 in casino bonus back. $1,000. No big deal.
It's a lot of baccarat.
It's a lot of,
I would guess.
A lot of potential baccarat.
Yeah.
That's right. And
A lot
then you
of
win.
potential
Think about how much
baccarat.
potential that is. And it's just
I wonder if I can.
exponential.
Actually, never mind.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Thinking about Brazil.
All the information, the terms and conditions are at betparks.com. Check them out. You must be 21, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So as you know.
I do know.
You do know.
I do.
Well, yes, Vicky.
Shout out to Becky.
I was not going to talk about Vicky. Just, I feel like she's gotten enough shine. I'm getting jealous of the shine she's getting. Feels like every pod, but obviously, as we know, Vicky had an awesome experience.
Well, you're going to jump in on the baccarat roulette. At least I can do is shout out Vicky.
I wonder if Vicky got 52 out of 53.
It's a great question. She probably got 53 out of 53.
Yeah, she probably
clearly
did.
A smart lady.
You know what else she got? 2 for 2.
Bang.
Boom. There it is.
I like that. The 2 for 2.
You like that? Yeah, they should call it that. The 2 for 2 sale. Yeah, it's like 4 for 4 maybe.
Right.
Because as we know, houses have more than 4 windows, as we've discussed.
Some do.
It's really a mind-blowing fact when you think about it. But regardless, speaking of time running out, and as you know, we need you to join and gamble along with us. But what you also need to do is if you need new windows, now is the time to do it. Because for real, by the way, it's gonna feel like 105 outside today.
Stop.
I'm being dead serious.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
100.
Isn't that crazy?
What are we doing here? I thought we were done with this.
Me too. I'm so ready to wear hoodies and stuff.
Oh, I'm so ready.
What's nice is in my house, I wear hoodies all the time because I have nice windows and we keep the AC blasted. I got it down from 72, by the way.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you, buddy.
Sneakily did it. But right now, time is running out because Window Nation is all about value. And this August, they're giving you a great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. It's probably been almost a year since our anniversary with them, by the way. Maybe we'll do a little celebration.
I like that.
Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. And there's no limit to how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 full months. That is a wild deal. Act now and you'll get an extra $250 credit as well. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked, as you know, you'll never forget. I think about it all the time. Ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high quality, affordable windows. So stop paying more than you have to, just in general in life. Good advice from Window Nation. You don't want to pay more than you have to.
That's right.
But hurry because the sale ends August 31st. So schedule a fast in-home estimate right now. 866-90-NATION. That is 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com and tell them Go Birds.
That's right. Tell them Go Birds saying, yeah. All right. Coming up in just a minute, by the way, we're going to tell you about something really cool. The first annual thing that'll be happening. But back to the point you're making before I stopped you.
Well, I wish I could remember what it was. I mean, I feel like I have legitimately no recollection.
Yeah.
Tucker, do you remember what the point
Tucker,
was?
you remember what the point was?
Coach rankings.
Yes. Good job by you.
That's why Tucker's the man.
Yeah, this is, you're very helpful. That was
good. I did not have it either.
Yeah. All right.
I was like, back to.
I was going to go with an offensive line.
Yeah, I was like, oh, crap.
All right. So ESPN ranked the coaching staffs around the league.
Okay.
You want to guess where the Eagles were?
The whole staff?
Well, so they did offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, head coach.
Did they do them individually and then combine the things? Or
so
is
it's
it
like
just
trios. They ranked trios.
Oh.
So 2 coordinators, head coach, where the Eagle staff would be.
So
Nick
is obviously not getting a lot of credit these days. 13th.
Oh, that was good. They were 16th.
Oh, wow. 16th.
Right?
Okay.
So I think whenever I open a list, I don't know if you do this because you don't like lists, but I love lists.
No.
You don't like the players list.
I don't like the players list.
Right.
I love lists. I am all in on lists.
Okay.
I have lists. I told you.
That's
in
a
my
good point.
phone, I have
That's a good
lists.
point.
Like, in fact, my final thought is about lists. All right. So there you go.
So you're
love
a big
lists.
list man.
I just hate the NFL top 100 list.
You're
I think it's
not
a
a fan.
freaking joke.
Yeah.
I think these guys don't give a crap. I think it's a joke. But go ahead.
So when
Name Patrick Mahomes 4.
I know. And I've thought about that and have a point, but we don't have to get into it. So here's what I would say. Like normally when I open a list, I have a pretty good idea of where the thing I'm looking for will be.
You were shocked.
Like I'll scroll to if they're ranking running backs, I will scroll and I'll be like, he's top.
Yeah.
I was shocked the Eagles were 16.
That's
I thought.
I mean, it's shot at Nick, man. I mean, there's
It's
no other way.
definitely
There's
Nick.
no other way to take it. Like Vic Fangio's respected.
Now Vic didn't have
He
a
might
great
not
year
be
in
the
Miami,
best,
but
he's respected.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore respected.
it is a Nick thing.
Like this is a Nick thing.
It is a Nick thing.
Like who knows? They could have been lower if it weren't
So-
for the other 2 guys.
Let me ask you this, and I don't have an answer for it, but I'm just curious, like gut instinct. Are we overrating how much coordinators?
I mean, it's certainly possible. Like, I don't think so. I think that the coordinators and Nick's involvement in play calling and Nick having to do more than,
Right.
he wanted or whatever. Like, I think that was the single biggest problem with the team last year. I think
Yeah.
that's number one. So for me, no, I don't think we are. I think that the coordinators are a massive, important difference. But like, I think there's certainly the possibility that it's like, oh no, Nick's still in charge, and Nick was a problem. And I'm not saying that's what I expect, but there's certainly a world where like, oh, Nick's a bad coach. Like, this was a mistake. The Jalen Nick thing, that didn't work. Can't do it. Like, I'm not expecting that. I'm just saying, like, could that happen?
Yeah, I think there's like a chance of that happening. But I think from being at camp, and we've talked about this obviously with all the pods, like I've been very impressed by the coaching staff. I think they look better coached. They look just a cleaner team, like crisper. There's not those mistakes. I can't say schematically they've looked different because I don't get a chance to rewatch all these plays, but like I think they've looked like a better coach team. So I do think they will be, in my opinion, a better coach team than last year. The question I have is I think sometimes we lean on the coordinators so much as a reason they'll be better. Like Stoutland, well, he'll fix the offensive line. Fangio, yeah, the secondary pass rush isn't great, but like they have Fangio now. Like Kellen Moore will come fix the offense. He'll be the issue for the blitz. He'll be the reason they'll be better against the blitz. And I do wonder if nationally maybe the staff is not thought of as high. I'm obviously off of this list of being 16th, but just that's a lot to ask of a coaching staff. So I was just surprised they were 16th. It was like eye opening to me.
Yeah,
and it does feel like nationally the Eagles are not viewed the same way we view.
Well, that's good.
And maybe that's always the
that.
case.
I mean, I feel like they're only ever good when it's that way. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I don't want everyone nationally.
I agree with that. I think they do better when there aren't expectations.
I agree.
Now there are locally, but I think nationally, I mean, there's like
but the expectations are lower than last year. Last year, we're like, go win the Super Bowl. You just lost it. Go win.
Yeah.
This year, it's like, all right, like, don't destroy our souls.
Yeah.
Is really kind of like the bar that we're.
What'd you think of Jalen being 11th on the athletic list of quarterbacks?
Didn't see it. So
Okay.
11th?
So it's the every year they do the tiers.
Yeah, no, Mike Sando's list.
Yeah. So he was second tier, which is interesting since he was 11th.
Second tier? These are your tiers are too big, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. Like it almost feels like if you're 11th,
I mean, you should have
third.
like the second tier should like Patrick Mahomes should be in his own tier right now. Like it should be tier 1, Mahomes.
Agreed.
And then everything else after. So you should already be on tier 2. Like personally.
Although I do respect, I guess, not allowing the numbers because they're ranked in terms of second tier was basically they like help you win, but they're not throwing you to a win type of thing. And I guess it makes sense just put those guys in there regardless of how many there are. But Jalen being 11th.
My point is that should be the third tier.
Yeah,
Mahomes tier, then whatever else you have.
Right, I get what you're saying. Yeah. What do you think about him being 11th? Did you see what they wrote about him, by the way?
I didn't even know he was 11.
Okay.
How would I have seen
That's
what
a
they
good
wrote
point.
about? So here's what I think just overall. I think it's a very fair ranking. Like I would have him higher personally, but like it's not like I'm going to have him that much higher. Like I would have him in the 7-8 range probably if I went through and did it. Like, so.
I wish I would have done the prep to pull this up before.
Yeah. Like
Okay, here's what they wrote about him. Tell me if you find this concerning.
Okay.
All right. So these are anonymous people talking. So a defensive coordinator wrote about Jalen. If they can't run the ball, Hurts is not effective. He can't handle pure pass. When he got hurt and became immobile and they had to throw the ball, he showed what he was. I think they might have paid a guy that they are going to have to have a really good team around to win games.
Well, they do have a really good team around him, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really concern me that much there. Also, I just think it's unfair. Like, here's the thing. Whatever these quotes are going to say and stuff, I think that we're going to know about Jalen. Like I agree. He spent this whole offseason working. We know how hard he works. We know how much he puts into it. We know that what he went through last season, what he experienced, the blitz thing, the contract, it's all done. We're moving forward. Like, I think what we see from Jalen this season, particularly early this season, is going to tell us who Jalen Hurts is and what he's going to be.
So one of my biggest pet peeves is the whole Jalen has talent around him. So all great quarterbacks have talent around him. Really,
the vast majority.
Really, only Mahomes doesn't.
Yeah,
and like
well,
Josh Allen has
Brady
had
when he won his first 3
titles.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm saying in today's like Joe Burrow has
then
talent.
It's like talent around. It's like
he had Bill Belichick.
He had great defense. He had great offensive line.
Randy Moss when he was.
Well, that was later. Yeah, the first 3 he didn't have Gronk or Moss or Hernandez or any of those guys. Like it did get better when he got those guys, but. He's throwing to like Deion Branch, and Deion Branch, not a horrible player.
Yeah.
Wes Welker didn't win in there. He was in the middle there, but you know what I mean.
I just think it's unfair that Jalen's accomplishments gets dinged because of who's around him, whereas all great quarterbacks have great players around.
Yeah,
this is what it is.
No, I know, but it is fair to say Jalen has in our
He
opinion,
is
the
the
best
best.
skill position players we've ever seen on the Eagles and stuff. I agree. I just think it's unfair in the sense that, like, yes, I think to your point, most quarterbacks are going to be
I just
better
think
and
this
worse.
idea that teams win despite of quarterbacks or with them as opposed to because of them.
I
Like,
just-
they win because of Jalen.
I just think that, again, it's one of those things where I need to see how Jalen comes back and reacts to what happened last year and what he's changed and what he's learned and all that. And that'll tell us who he is and what he's going to be. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't think, I think we do this every year where it's like someone who does something great and then it's like you give they're the best, or they do something bad. It's like, oh, they're the worst. It's like, maybe give them a chance to kind of get to where they're going to be.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So the other quote that I thought was interesting. So the word is out there. If you run zero blitz against Hurts or show zero and back everyone out, he will panic. That has to change. Those losing Jason Kelce, the protections, he basically did everything. And you bring in a coordinator who likes to drop back. It'll be interesting. Here's my thought on that. If they're bad against a blitz again this year, fire everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen's gone, Nick's gone, Kellen's gone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You had all offseason to solve this. If blitzing is not a new concept in the NFL, it's not like they're figuring out how to stop the Wildcat. If they are bad against a blitz again this year, like, everyone's got to go.
Start over.
And it will tank the season. Like, if they're bad against the blitz,
it
will tank
without a doubt. It will.
Yeah.
Again, your offense can't move the ball when you're bad against the blitz like
Right.
that. No, I'm with you. I am kind of just not reacting super. I think 11th is fair. Coming off of last season, if you want to say Jalen Hurts should be 11. Now, like I think
they had Goff ahead of him.
I think he's better than Purdy. Purdy's ahead of him on a lot of these lists.
I don't think Purdy was on that.
I think he's better than Dak. Dak's ahead of him on a lot of these lists. Like Goff, and Goff's good. Goff had a great year last year.
I don't think it's an insult to be below Goff.
I don't either. I think they're similarly ranked right now.
Yeah.
You know, like Jordan Love, like similarly ranked right now. I think CJ Stroud, I'd put him above Jalen. Like, that's what it is. I think that dude's a freaking superstar. Like, so like I think it's fair. I'm not getting too worked. I got worked up about it last year coming up, and look how it played out.
Right.
So I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. I think 11th, if that's going to be like the bottom of where Jalen is, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Any other real quick before we get to final thoughts and all that? Oh, yeah. We got a big announcement coming. Real quick. Anything else on cuts? Paris Campbell kind of saw that coming out.
I think he'll be back on the practice squad.
I agree. So there's nothing else cuts wise.
No,
right? So we'll see what they do. And obviously we're back Parks Picks Pod tomorrow. See if anything happens before then. All right. Before we get to final thoughts, announcement.
All right. So we've talked about fantasy on this pod.
Yeah, and not glowingly.
Not glowingly.
To be fair. We've kind of done a whole
we've made it clear gambling
losers,
is better,
which it is. Yeah, we've done a whole fantasy for losers thing.
Like, here's the deal:
why do fantasy? Because gambling's better. But
here's the thing: if you're gonna do something that's for losers, you got to hire winners to make it good.
I like that. So I was gonna say it's not about the game itself. It's about the camaraderie and the experience and who you're playing with, and thus it's almost you can pretend it's a gambling.
Yes,
right? But the point is you're doing it with people you care about.
So here's what we're doing. For the first time ever, we have the official Go Birds 2024 fantasy.
How about it?
We have the fantasy league. And it's like whenever anybody introduces something new, it's a new concept, doing a fantasy league amongst your friends. Like,
I don't think it's never
something where you have to do it with the best.
Yeah.
So listen, I've not told you the list yet.
No, I have no idea. I only know 2 participants in the league.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a second.
We'll talk about it later.
All right. So
they are not Elliot and I.
They are not.
That is an interesting part of this league.
Yes. All right.
Thank goodness.
So let's almost want to do a drum roll. Obviously, you don't have to really do it. But all right.
Tucker in post. No, I'm just kidding.
Starting off, Drew from Westchester. You know him. You love him. You hear his calls. He makes great points. Has been very helpful in putting the league together.
I can see that too. Drew, very capable.
Next up, you also know him and love him. Drew knows him and loves him. Justin from Richmond.
How about it? We got pals in the league.
Yes.
This is good. Starting off with friend, as we always say on this show.
Yeah.
Friendship wins.
It's exactly right.
Friendship
and we'll find out if that matters in fantasy. Now, could they collude together? That's something we'll have to be monitoring.
They're stand-up guys.
They are.
Yes.
All right, next up. He loves college football. He tried to tell us.
Oh, you're telling me the feller's in here?
Oh, no.
Oh, there's another. Oh, this is Corey from Columbus.
Corey from Columbus. Yes.
Win right there.
Corey from Columbus. I'm really excited to see how he does. Will he just pick all Ohio State people? We'll see.
I love that. Corey knows his stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Next up, maybe knows more about college football. We can debate that. The feller you know.
Okay, so they're both in.
The feller is in. Justin from Tennessee.
This really is a star-studded list.
I'm telling you.
Wow,
all right.
I'm a little
just get ready. Get ready.
Little,
all right. You're turning red.
Get a little nervous.
All right. Yeah. Next up, one of the nicest people we have met. Jess, by the way, got a new job. Very excited for him. our buddy, our pal, a consistent caller, Chris Motion.
Yes.
In the league.
Congratulations to
Yes,
Chris. Very
yes.
exciting. New job. We got to meet Chris in person finally. What a
Very
thrill.
sweet.
What a
Yes.
great person. Great
All
human.
right.
Yes. This is a human all-star.
It really is. It is the Go Birds who's
It's like the nicest, most wonderful people in the world. This is going to be the most friendly fantasy league.
Next up, maybe you should have said him first because he is the second best leadoff hitter in the city, behind only Kyle Schwarber. Tom from Abington.
Oh,
Tom from Abington.
Dude, you really went for it. This is great.
Dude, I'm saying if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
I love it. So a little quick inside baseball. We talked about this a little while ago, and then
kind of fell by the wayside.
Totally fell by the way. Certainly for me, I did absolutely nothing. And then Elliot's like, "Hey, we're doing this, right?" And I was like, "Bro, if you could pull this off in the time that we forgot, and now what we have left, and you have." I'm so
good
impressed.
news. There's still 4 more that are impressive.
Wow.
Well, really 6 if we include the other 2.
Yeah, well, the other 2 are coming. Yeah.
All right, next up, our official Bet Park scorekeepers. 2 of the original OGs, I gotta say.
Oh, Stokes and Ned?
Ned and Stokes.
Yes!
Co-managing
it.
co-managing a
shout
team.
out to our guys.
Yeah.
So they don't call the radio as much.
Yeah.
You might not know them Go Birds, but
they're a big part of the
if
family.
you've listened to the pod for a while, you definitely know who Stokes and Ned are. They've been keeping they keep our records for our Bet Parks picks, which is, let me tell you, a huge help. Particularly now, because before we had to worry about it, they took over for it. It would be Tucker. Tucker really should be thanking them for taking that. Yeah, taking that off his plate.
Something else I finished second in, by the way.
Yeah, it's
so yeah, Ned and Stokes in it to win it. We'll see how they do. Okay. All right.
This is unbelievable. You did great. I'm so proud of you.
It really does feel like an all-star.
Yeah,
like,
it's really exciting.
Okay. Next up, our buddy. We went and we watched a rodeo with him.
Oh,
we used to be enemies. Now we're best friends. CJ from Texas is in the league. Yes, another college football
driving around Texas with CJ.
Yes. Put on the music with him.
It was great.
All right, it's time to go international. It's time to expand the league.
No way.
Yeah. Our buddy, our pal, came on the trip last year. We'll have the trip soon.
We're going to
Charlie from Denmark.
Yes, I love this.
Charlie from Denmark made the list.
Oh, Charlie, I'm so happy.
Very excited to see how he does. Time difference. We'll see how that impacts.
That could
things.
impact.
Yeah, it's something he'll have to deal with. It's
like, who's making moves at 3 in the morning? Oh, it's Charlie.
Yes,
Charlie.
exactly.
Or me if I were in the league.
Yes. And now I don't know if we call him the cleanup hitter because he leads off the 2 o'clock hour.
Oh, this is great.
I think
more international.
So I actually think he'll be
hold on. So we're in 3 countries.
Yes. Yes. And if you want to count Texas as their own country.
Well, the thing is, in Texas, they would.
Exactly right. It's big enough. Yeah. Tom from Vancouver.
Yes.
In the league. So Drew,
this is so exciting,
right?
You got,
dude. I can't wait to follow along.
You did. I know. You
and
did
the fun
great.
thing is for everybody else that listens all the time, like you got to pick someone to root for.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we take some submissions.
Bet Parks odds, I think would be fun.
Odds. I like that. Put some odds.
But here's the
So there are 2 more members.
There are 2 more members. It's not me. It's not you.
No, but I mean, like
it kind of is.
It kind of like we will be involved with this. There's no other way. Like we're kind of in because
Kristen and Emily are in the.
Our wives are in the league.
Our wives are in the league. So here's how this came to be. So first of all, we've talked about like Kristen, huge into fantasy.
Yep.
Emily, huge into football, and I believe in
huge into football. And she's done. She's happy to do
big time. Like I would say, Emily is more into football than Kristen is, but Kristen is super into fantasy.
Without a doubt, I would say like Emily can talk sports about as well.
Right.
And
we were driving to Parks one day. We're talking about the idea of this, and we were like, "Who would do better, Kristen or Emily?"
It's so fun.
So it's like you know. It's hard because it's all of our favorite people. Like I would be happy if anybody won, but obviously I hope Kristen wins.
Yeah,
and Kristen takes it seriously.
So unlike you and Kristen, Emily and I are rooting for the listeners.
Okay, I'm being honest.
Yes,
I know where my
Emily
bread
and
is buttered.
Emily and I care more about one of our wonderful listeners who we love so much winning this league than her, but she's still going to try her best.
Good news.
See what
Sounds
I did
like
there?
loser mentality. So we can cross Emily off as a potential winner of the league. So it'll be really fun. The wives will be in it. Obviously, you know, everyone be nice. I will be looking for rip off trades both ways. Yeah. I'm the commissioner. So I do.
Whoa, I love hold on. Did you hear
Well, we could be the commissioner.
No. I don't want to be.
I know you don't.
I'm so happy not to be involved other than talking about it and watching it and whatnot. Not to have any
responsibility.
Thank you. That's where I was looking for responsibility in it. I just love the way you were basically like Captain Phil. I was like, I'm the captain now.
I'm the commissioner.
I'm the commissioner. Okay. Like
now, here's what I would say. I do think in fantasy, I don't think commissioners.
So you're not going to cheat for Kristen?
No, definitely not. Okay. Well, who knows?
That's just pretty.
Who knows?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think in general you shouldn't veto trades.
I'm super
if two
anti-veto.
people are willing to do it, then it is what
unless
it is.
there is
like
collusion.
Week 11 and you're clearly just
agree. Unless there's collusion, or in week 11, if you're 1-13 and you can't, or 1 and
and you
10,
trade all your good
you
players,
can't make the playoffs anyway. Not okay.
Yes,
but I agree with you. If two teams trying to win make a trade, like
is what it is.
Trust them to do that. Like so many times I've seen where people get so mad about one side of a trade, and then like whether it's because one guy later the week a guy gets hurt or the trade was just better. It happens all the time.
I agree.
It's like, oh, the one who I thought lost the trade won it by.
Now, who do you think is most likely to just want to draft Eagles?
That's a great question.
So I think, in my opinion, it's Chris from Ocean City.
I could see that. I could see it got some emotion, some like positive vibes coming in. He's
Justin from Richmond.
Definitely a big like. I don't want to hear you talk smack on Jalen. I will come
exactly.
After you
Yes.
Yes.
I think he is most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Tom from Vancouver, straight analytical approach.
Oh, without question.
Like he's gonna go in,
no heart.
He's gonna have DVO, He's gonna have DVOA. He's gonna have all kinds
putting
of
along the waiver
stats.
wire. Yes.
Yes.
I think now Charlie will be interesting because of the time difference.
Yeah, that's gonna be fascinating to bring in the Danish way of playing.
Now, here's what I will say about Kristen. I know there's one player she really wants, and I'll be curious to see if she gets it.
Here's what I'll say about Emily. Forgot this was happening. Just found out yesterday. She's doing it
Thursday
again.
at 8:00.
She's going to be ready.
So we will tweet out the rosters for everybody.
Yes.
And, it'll be fun. We'll follow along our favorite Go Birds characters, see how they do.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It'll be really cool. And I want to thank all those people, all our favorite callers, favorite listeners, and you're all our favorites. We love you all so much. But I'm saying the people call into our show every Saturday and stuff, the ones who everyone knows, I'm really excited. Like, it's neat to have them all in, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited. Thank you for doing everything for it, Elliot.
No problem.
Basically was like, Emily will do it.
Yeah.
And that was pretty,
that's really why
that's not fair. That's not fair. I also made sure CJ in Texas was
You did. You helped.
That was my one contribution.
You did know about CJ.
I took care of CJ. So everyone, you're welcome.
Yeah.
No, seriously, nice job, man. This was all you. So
final thoughts.
Want
me to go first?
Got it open. Yep.
All right.
So mine is I'm going to give a final thought, and then I said with the listing, I'm going to tease upcoming final thoughts. Get ready for that.
I like it.
Yeah. That's what.
All right. So I was watching tennis recently.
Why?
I don't know. It's just on. It's really not an exciting sport to watch, to be honest. But here's what I don't get. So you know how in tennis, let me make sure I read it correctly. So here's what I've written down. It's dumb in tennis that they have the side alleys for courts that aren't being used for doubles. Why bother putting them if they're just out there? So when you play doubles,
yes, I get that. Yeah.
Why not just draw a new court? Like
why not just have a court for singles and then have a court for doubles? I agree with you. I don't know.
Well, this isn't some startup tennis sport. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's because everyone has a tennis, like all the people have tennis courts, like people live with a tennis court,
right?
Or public tennis courts you can afford. I mean, I don't
know.
That
I understand.
But so my guess is it's just a uniformity thing where they just go
seems
with
silly. Why? What other sport plays on a court
where
there's
this is a great take,
right?
It's a great take.
Again, now your point about locally, I get that.
Yeah,
and you're used to it, and also it's not like it matters. Like
you're not going to change a court like in a public park or whatever over. But I could see, first of all, moving forward, you could build two courts, build a doubles and a singles court.
You could have two,
but regardless, I don't care about that. Like Wimbledon, US Open, all these things, you can afford it. Build. No, I think.
Why is it out there?
It's a great take.
Thank you.
It really is.
It's purely cosmetic. I mean, it's the only thing I can think of.
Well, and
it's because of the way the people are used to seeing it that way.
Well,
but there's no point in having the alleys.
It's also just that it's easier to, because you do play both sports. It's easier to have the courts that work for both.
Court, I guess.
Where you do, all right, today it's doubles day, tomorrow singles day, whatever. I think
let's not be cheap here.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yes, you're Wimbledon. What are we doing here?
Yes,
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Phenomenal take. Now, here's what I will just acknowledge it again as someone who's not a big tennis guy or whatever. Maybe there is a real reason that we don't know about. So if you're
hopefully someone tweets us.
That's what. But all I'm saying is, if you're a tennis person listening right now, being like, "You dumb bleeps,"
you know what?
We're sorry.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. We're sorry. Our ignorance isn't intentional.
That's fair. Good point. All right, I'm apologizing to you for our ignorance, but we're not actually sorry.
I don't feel bad about
it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have looked something up before you came on.
Nah, it's not all final thoughts.
That's not.
You don't get things like
that. Is so not how final thoughts.
It's wild pickles become cucumbers.
It's right. Exactly. You're right.
Or cucumbers become pickles.
We don't want to miss out on that. And I'm waving to some people outside the studio. How you doing?
Very nice.
Little guy in a Phillies jersey. It's a good look right there. Okay. My final thought, like I said, I'm going to give a final thought, but I'm also going to tease a final thought in that I've been, I feel like I talk a lot about movies on here, and I have all these movie lists, like I told you. Like
Seems like you like movies.
Yeah, I have top 5 lists for days. Again, I have like
As long as
I have lists like the top 5. Again, I won't curse, Tucker. The top 5 holy bleep, I can't believe what I just saw in theater movies.
Let me ask you this.
Top 5 actor, actress, director combos. I got top 5 most consistent franchises. I got specific directors. Anyway, go ahead. Yes.
If you don't like the NFL players making lists, how would you feel about actors making lists of movies?
So again, it's based on the NFL lists that have come out. It's not that I object to the concept of NFL players
You
making a
object
list.
to the results.
I reject, and consistently the results have shown that I don't think they really either care about it or pay attention to the people that are not playing or whatever. It's the actual results of the list, not the idea of the list itself. Anyone make a list. Go for it. I think lists are great.
Pro list.
All right. With that in mind, I want to let everyone know that starting with the next pod and moving forward for like 4 or 5 in a row, I'm going to give you my top 5 of each decade movies.
So which decades are we talking?
So we're talking the decades I've been alive, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and
obviously it's early
2020s. I'll give you my early list of
early.
Talk about movies.
But in 6 years, we will reevaluate.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go through all of them. So
okay.
I just want everyone know I'll do a couple each one or whatever. But I'm giving people a tease that this is hard.
Yeah,
I got lit. Like I have like 40 movies for my top 5 1990s. So I'm just letting you know that how seriously I'm taking it, how badly I want to do right, and I'm also going to sprinkle in some movie takes.
Okay, so you're
like
doing You're doing 80s first.
So I was actually thinking.
Oh, you're gonna tease. Oh, you're not doing it today. You're gonna tease.
I'm teasing for next time.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a final thought for today. I just want to. Honestly, the main reason I'm not done today is because I have not. I've been.
Maybe I'll come up with my top 5 for each.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I have stars next to but I've got like 8 and 7 and 6. I haven't finalized it. Like this is serious. I was going to do it today, and they're not finalized.
Now you would argue it should be finalized for the 80s. Those movies have been made.
I'm saying what my choices are. Is saying that I have 7 I really like. I got to get it down to 5. I'm going to do a top 5. I got to make tough choices.
All right.
Okay.
Life's hard.
So I just want everyone to know that it's on its way. And it's coming. You should be really excited.
Look forward to it.
Good. You should. I think I might go backwards because I think it's probably more fun to go back to the 90s and 80s.
Yeah, I would definitely
start with the 2020s and go on.
No, I would start with the 80s. I'd go 80s, 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you might be more excited for the later stuff. I think the vast majority of people care a lot more about my 90s and 80s list.
It's just not as
my 2020s.
Yeah, that's fair.
But either way, we can figure that part out. But here's my final thought for today. So I just want to give everyone a heads up. It's coming.
Okay. Excited.
Yeah. I want to, sow the seeds of excitement here. Thank you. It was an okay tease. It's more that I was going to do it today and I didn't have them quite right.
Right.
So, but I do have a final thought. And this is something we've probably talked about over the years, but it just happened to me again. And I need to bring this back. Like, we as a society have to start prioritizing in person over phone. Like, if I go to a restaurant and I am in your face, ready to order something, don't freaking pick up the phone and tell me to hold on, because you have to take an order of the phone by someone who's too freaking lazy to leave their house. And again, I'm all for delivery, pickup, great. But if I take the time to come into your place and I'm standing right in front of you, I should be prioritized. So
clearly this happened.
Over the yes.
Yeah.
I should be
the emotion
over the phone. Yeah. Like, that's outrageous. I am a human being standing in front of you. Someone else, and I get it. If you're on the phone when I walk in, I'm not saying like stop.
Right.
But like, don't take a call while I'm standing in front of you and be like, hold on a sec, and then talk to me and do for them. Take their order when I'm waiting. Are you crazy? Right. Are you out of your freaking mind? I'm in front of you. A human being is in person with you, and you're taking the phone call and saying, hold on, sir, let me take their food order, because that's more important than the person who came into my freaking place to take my order.
Right.
I'm calm about
that. So you obviously handled this really well. Obviously.
I was great in person.
I'm sure, yes.
Got up and dealt with it. And
if only that poor worker knew.
You know what I did? Well, I took out my notes app and I said, got my final thought, baby.
I can just picture you standing there next to the counter, like
staring them down.
Grilling, being like,
eyeing them down.
You only knew the thousands of people that
eyeing them down. I put the notes app, and then I was also going to text Emily about it. And I knew that Emily would just be like, don't text me about this. So I didn't. So I doubled my thoughts.
Emily was worried about the fantasy league. All right.
Yes.
Here's what I would say.
No, Emily just does not care.
Here's what I would say. I agree. I just think it's not a problem that is widespread.
No, but it is. It is. And then here's another thing, like another one. Okay. This is a step down. I don't feel quite as strongly about that one.
Could you possibly?
But like, you know what? If you get an online order and an in-person order, you should make the in-person order first. Like, you should not be making online orders. I don't care when the order came in. Like, I get it if it's
This is where we might separate.
but I get it. But you know what? If I walk in and I take an order and I make it, and you're like, hold on, I got to make these 3 other orders that someone ordered online. Like, sorry, go in and order in person. Like, we have to prioritize the human situations, in person. I just like think you're being, real human being.
You're being a little harsh on the people that order.
No,
online.
You're just an online order, and
a lot of people are. I mean, so I do get your point that if you drive there, you deserve
all I'm saying
special
is if you're
credit.
in person, you should just get a little more. Yes, it's particularly the answering the phone thing in person, but I'm taking it a step further to the online thing. The online thing I feel less strong about. But like, if I take the time to go in, like, there should be some sort of priority for the in-person person as opposed to someone who's sitting at home. I'm just gonna dial them.
You know how in relationships, like, one person feels strong about something, and maybe you don't, but it's just good for the relationship to support. I'm with you on it. If you feel this strongly about it, like, I will never allow a person on a phone in person.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It'll be I might even tweet it.
Thank you.
Take a picture of them. Just get absolutely dragged online for
I promise I will not get this fired up.
No, it's good it's good to let your emotion out.
I had to let it. Yeah. All right. This was fun.
Good luck ordering food next time. It's clear. You know, you ever seen that episode of Curb where the doctor keeps asking Larry how often he goes to the bathroom, and he's like, well, I go this many times, but that's kind of normal. Like, I feel like next time you order food, it's gonna be like, so you want to do takeout or should I call it in? Well, I could go get it, but the issue is when I go get it. But if I call, then they should make my phone first.
This is not an anti-takeout thing.
It sounds like anti-takeout. I know.
It's a giving preferential treatment to the people who actually show up.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying. Again,
you seem like more of a pickup guy.
And honestly, it's not even that. It's more like again, if order comes in online and I'm ordering, like, you should make my order first. I'm there.
Now, I would argue, though, from a business perspective, if they have you there, they've already got you.
Well, I get it. I don't. Yeah. I'm talking strictly
strictly what's kind,
strictly what is right, and just.
I get that.
That's
all right. Fair enough.
Cool. That's it.
That's it. Here we go.
Done.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow. Bet Parks Picks Pod. Saturday, Elliot will be here for the show.
Yeah.
So we'll preview him leaving for Brazil, do the whole thing. And we can talk about the star-studded fantasy league. I'm sure we'll hear
the draft will have happened, so we'll need everyone's reaction.
That would be great.
Who they took, who they didn't.
This is great.
I doubt Chris and Emily call in, but that would be fun.
That would be fun. Emily will not.
Kristen
might 0%, but I don't think she would. 0% chance. Emily will not.
Yes.
So, until then,
there it is.
He's on, James.